retail clothing store in Peru became the epicenter of a terrifying mystery that quickly made national headlines. Security cameras recording in the dead of night captured an incident so disturbing, employees were reportedly terrified to return to work. At first, the store appears completely empty, but the silence does not last. The security footage reveals a tiny, bizarre creature aggressively sprinting back and forth between the clothing racks in the early morning hours. But the recording captures only half of the nightmare. When employees arrived the following morning, they found the entire store in chaos, racks overturned, merchandise scattered across the floor, and displays destroyed as if an intruder had ransacked the building. Yet every door remained deadbolted, with no signs of forced entry. While skeptics suggest that an animal may have slipped inside, local reports and viewers connect the incident to South American folklore surrounding the duende, mischievous, goblin-like entities said to terrorize empty buildings after dark. Was this merely an ordinary intruder, or a supernatural creature caught on national television? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This viral video surfaced across social media, allegedly filmed from the dizzying heights of a skyscraper in China. While recording the sprawling cityscape below, a young man noticed an unsettling movement inside the charred shell of a burned-out high-rise across the street. He immediately zoomed his camera toward the blackened wreckage, capturing a sight that would make anyone's skin crawl. As the image moved closer, the ruined building no longer appeared to be empty. At first glance, it appears to be a solitary figure, standing motionless inside the wreckage. But as the camera zooms closer and the entity begins to move, its anatomy becomes deeply disturbing. It possesses unnaturally elongated skeletal arms, stretching and bending far beyond human limits. Many believe this is an unknown entity nesting inside the abandoned skyscraper, where a devastating fire once erupted under mysterious circumstances. Was this an unearthly creature stalking the ruins, or something born from the building's tragic history? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Shortly after moving into a new apartment with her boyfriend, a young woman found herself trapped in an escalating paranormal nightmare. Flickering lights, disembodied whispers, and objects moving without being touched. Then, while her boyfriend was away working a late-night shift, the presence inside their apartment made itself known.
Lo rompebolas se pone cada vez que llegamos a la sesión. Nadie entra a este placar. Ustedes 20 veces se los he mostrado, creo. No hay chance de que alguien entre acá. ¿Cómo les gusta romper las bolas? Es increíble.
Loud, aggressive knocks suddenly begin hammering from inside the bedroom closet. She slowly approaches and pulls open the door, only to find the cramped space completely empty. Later that evening, while cooking alone in the kitchen, unsettling sounds begin echoing from the other room.
Esperando a que leude el pan, pero se empezaron a escuchar ruidos en la parte del living. Y estoy sola. No hay nadie. Miren. Literalmente no. Qué pesado, hermano. Qué ganas de romper las bolas que tiene. No, es muy rompebolas.
Despite there being no open windows or noticeable airflow, the metal cookware and cutlery hanging above the counter begin violently clattering together, as if shaken by an invisible hand. But the activity was no longer confined to the inside of their apartment.
Llegamos a la sesión y en la pieza, la cual estaba apagada, está las luces LED prendidas y no sé si alcanzan a ver esa silueta, sombra, no sé qué carajo es, pero hay alguien parado en la pieza y estamos literalmente nosotros dos acá. Estamos los dos acá, no hay chance de que alguien esté en la pieza, porque no hay nadie en la casa. No me parece casualidad que lo esté haciendo después de salir de la sesión. Igual la chica me dijo que esto podía pasar. Miren, para que vean que de verdad no hay nadie, subimos lo más rápido que pudimos y no hay nadie en la casa.
Arriving home late one evening, the couple glanced up at their high-rise apartment from the street and froze. A pitch-black silhouette was standing in their window, silently staring down at them. The couple rushed upstairs, but the door was still locked, and the apartment was completely deserted. The following night, they positioned a security camera beside their bed. What it captured appeared only for a moment, and only inside a reflection.
Llegar como que ya con eso. No, me dice, mira, esto es algo serio, tengo que hacerlo. Bueno, adivina dónde terminó.
While the woman rests in bed watching television, a tall shadow figure appears inside the mirror's reflection, creeping silently across the room before dissolving into thin air. But in the camera's direct view of the room, nothing is there. Whatever crossed the mirror seemingly had no physical form outside the reflection. Determined to capture further evidence, the couple repositioned their cameras to monitor both the room and its reflective surfaces. Soon afterward, the entity manifested again, this time appearing clearly in the reflection of their high-rise window. Keep in mind, the apartment sits several stories above street level, making an intruder standing outside the glass physically impossible. Was this couple being stalked by a shadow entity, trapped somewhere between the reflections? As always, I'll let you be the judge. Recorded on June 1st, 2026, this chilling footage remains the only video ever uploaded to the account. Living completely alone on a secluded property, the homeowner glanced into his yard late one night and noticed something moving inside his parked RV. Uncertain of who or what was inside, he pulled out his camera and began recording.
Vivo solo en mi casa, salí para afuera y la puerta se empezó a mover sola. Miren, 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 miren. Pero nadie me cree cuando les digo. Nadie me cree. No hay nadie ahorita ahí. Vi que se asomó algo y... ese es mi perro, pero mi perro no puede alcanzar a hacer eso. Se apagaron las luces y están prendidas.
As the man zooms in on the camper, a pitch-black silhouette slips through the doorway. Moments later, the shadowy figure leans back into view, peering through the darkness as if locking eyes with the man filming. Despite there being no noticeable wind, the heavy RV door begins swinging open before violently slamming shut on its own. Then the interior lights suddenly go out, and within the final chilling frames, the same dark silhouette appears behind the RV's upper skylight, silently staring back through the glass. Too terrified to step outside and confront it, the man retreats into his house. Was an unhinged trespasser hiding inside his camper? Or had a shadow entity claimed the RV as its own? You be the judge. YouTuber TechRax traveled deep into the barren Nevada desert to explore a geothermal sinkhole known as Diana's Punch Bowl, or by its far more ominous name, the Devil's Cauldron. Armed with a drone and heavy-duty fishing line, he planned to lower a smartphone into the steaming abyss, hoping to film the boiling depths hidden below.
Super nice landing, guys. Let's check out. The phone is still recording, so the phone is super hot in my hands. Everything works perfectly fine. And now for the actual drop test, guys. This is where we're actually gonna release.
As the camera descends into the boiling sulfurous crater, its microphone begins capturing something truly horrifying. The unmistakable sound of agonized human screams, echoing from somewhere deep beneath the earth. Strangely, these tortured cries were completely absent during his initial flight above the crater.
So I wanted to include this one little segment here as well, guys. I noticed after listening to the audio of the last drop test that went into the water, the audio sounded pretty eerie, and I wanted to include kind of the unaltered version here. So I have the clip here. It was 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and I edited, for the actual video. Because it's just a lot of talking, and then the drone is flying, and then I'll show you guys the actual drop here. And then right there, you could hear, it definitely sounds like some yelling. It's really weird, guys. I don't know what to think of it. Especially since the first dip there was no noise at all. And then the recording actually stopped right here, which is also really weird. But I just wanted to show that, guys, as proof. Like, I didn't edit the audio or anything. That was the actual drop there in those hot springs.
Skeptics argue the distorted sounds were caused by the extreme geothermal heat, with temperatures inside the crater reportedly exceeding 200 degrees Fahrenheit. However, local legends claim the steaming chasm was regarded as a sacred and dangerous void, one inhabited by trapped spirits and lost souls. Were these horrifying cries merely the result of a heat-damaged microphone? Or did TechRax lower his camera directly into an underworld abyss? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. The investigator behind Dark Ghost Paranormal is known for documenting intense, highly volatile activity inside abandoned ruins. Yet while exploring an old abandoned house, still fully furnished, the sheer malice of the entity inside left him completely shaken. And the house did not remain silent for long.
Это музыка, что ли, играет? Это реально музыка.
As he moves from room to room, doors violently slam shut behind him in rapid succession. Worse still, his spirit box begins looping a chilling, direct threat. To pass away for you. The hostile entity wasn't just making noise, it was warning him to leave before it was too late. Refusing to back down, the investigator pushed deeper into the upper floors, and this time, the physical manifestations escalated. Resting abandoned on the floor, an antique accordion suddenly begins compressing, on its own, blasting loud, distorted notes into the dead silent room. An accordion requires substantial physical force to push air through its bellows, seemingly ruling out an ordinary draft. Something invisible appeared to be lifting and playing the instrument. Convinced that he was sharing the house with an aggressive poltergeist, the investigator became increasingly paranoid, as the disturbances continued to follow his every movement. While examining the walls, he stopped in front of an old portrait, depicting a woman. Something about her painted gaze seemed to radiate an overwhelming, oppressive energy.
С тепловизором. Блин, мне вот этот портрет реально покоя не дает.
Unable to shake the disturbing feeling, he continued searching the hallway. But when he returned to the portrait moments later, he froze in sheer terror.
И провести сеанс ЭГФ при свечах. Также можно просто установить здесь ночные камеры. Не знаю, было сейчас, друзья, видно или нет. Но вот эта девушка на этом плакате, она сейчас моргнула. И сбоку, вот тут справа сбоку, будто бы еще какой-то образ. Здесь.
He swears the woman in the portrait blinked, directly on camera. Did the painted eyes truly move, or was it merely a trick created by the shifting flashlight beam? Local records indicate that the house was constructed near ancient burial grounds, and with every piece of furniture left behind, it appears the previous occupants may have fled in a desperate hurry. What demonic presence could be tormenting the halls of this abandoned house? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In this next clip, a woman is home completely alone, recording herself singing inside her bedroom. Then, an eerie melody begins echoing from somewhere down the hallway. What sounds like an antique music box starts chiming, all by itself, inside the pitch-black house. Still recording, she slowly leaves the bedroom and moves toward the sound.
I'm home by myself. No, I don't think so. Tula, what was that? Oh, no. No, because I'm about to sit on the porch till Colin gets home. Absolutely not.
As she inches down the dark corridor toward the eerie melody, a faint, raspy voice hisses through the silence. She's here. The moment those words are spoken, the music box abruptly stops, and the entire house falls dead silent. Terrified, she frantically searches the darkened rooms for the source, but finds nothing. Even more disturbing, she claims she doesn't even own a music box. Overcome with dread, she immediately flees the house. Was this an uninvited entity playing games from the shadows? Or was the entire encounter an elaborate audio prank? I'll leave the final judgment to you. This next clip was recorded by a young man living with his elderly grandfather, documenting a series of deeply unsettling incidents inside their home. Over several months, he repeatedly discovered his grandfather standing completely motionless in dark corners, staring blankly into empty space for hours at a time. Disturbed by the unnatural behavior, the grandson grabbed his phone, determined to document what was happening. But what he captured made the situation even more disturbing.
Essa porra tá vazando, tá um cheiro. Deixa eu passar aí. Peraí, deixa eu passar aí. Look, come. Look.
At first glance, it appears to be an ordinary man, standing silently inside the room. but a closer look at his head reveals a horrifying detail. The man appears to have no facial features whatsoever, no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. Only a smooth, featureless void where his face should be. While skeptics point to deep shadows, low-light video compression, or a mask, many viewers were disturbed by its uncanny resemblance to ancient folklore. Across various cultures, legends describe malevolent mimics, entities that copy human forms to infiltrate homes, but fail to recreate the finer details of the human face. Was this merely an optical trick created by the shadows, or an unearthly mimic standing in place of his grandfather? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. In 2024, a woman suffered the heartbreaking loss of her grandfather, who passed away inside his secluded trailer. Since his death, the trailer had remained completely abandoned, deep within the woods. When the granddaughter and a friend returned to inspect the property, a distinct rhythmic squeaking began echoing from somewhere inside. It was the same sequence of creaking floorboards her grandfather once made while walking toward his bedroom. Shaken by the familiar sound, they pulled out a phone and began recording.
Out of that window and Grandpa's.
Dude, look.
I don't like it. I see it. Right into the house. Yeah, now I go pee.
You think somebody's in there?
No, like right into the house with the car.
Oh.
They aimed the camera toward the window closest to where the footsteps originated, and immediately panic. Peering through the glass is a pale, ghostly face, staring directly at them from inside the pitch-black trailer. Terrified, both women retreat from the property. Before driving away, the granddaughter takes one final photograph of the window. When she later compares the image with a portrait of her late grandfather, she notices an uncanny resemblance, one that sends chills down her spine. Was her grandfather's spirit still bound to the trailer where he drew his final breath? Or was an uninvited entity wearing his likeness? Let me know what you think down in the comments.
No, like right into the house with the car.
Oh.
Recorded more than a decade ago, this chilling video did not surface until June 28, 2026, after a family friend noticed an unnerving detail hidden in the background. Two young girls were playing inside their bedroom, recording themselves on camera. But while their attention remained fixed on the lens, something downright sinister entered the frame. And neither girl noticed it. The moment the girl hanging from the doorframe calls out for help and her sister begins pushing her, a large disembodied hand reaches out from beneath the bed and taps her directly on the shoulder. Terrifyingly, the child shows no reaction and appears completely unaware that anything touched her. The girl later posted an update addressing the eerie footage.
It's either AI or rage bait. So for context, this was taken on an iPad. I think that's quite obvious that it's taken, like no one's filming it. It's dead still. We run up to the camera at the end to pause it. But it was taken on an iPad. It was against the TV and it was on a chest of drawers. The only person in this house, apart from me and my friend, was my mum. She was downstairs. She would not have been in the room with us, especially laying on the floor, because that's what it would mean. Because height, looking at height, she would have had to have been on her knees or on the floor. My mum wasn't on the floor while we're playing. I do have a little sister, but she was away at her dad's.
She revealed that other strange, unexplained occurrences had taken place throughout the house. Yet her family believes that whatever presence resides there was only trying to help them. Was this a benevolent spirit watching over the children, or something far darker lurking beneath the bed? I'll let you be the judge. This next recording comes from the mother of a newborn baby living in Hawaii. At 3:40 in the morning, her indoor security cameras captured something so terrifying, it left her paralyzed with fear inside her bedroom. According to Daisy Andrade, of all the bizarre phenomena she has experienced inside her home, this overnight incident was by far the most unsettling. Many believe that what Daisy captured may be connected to ancient Hawaiian folklore and the eerie, shape-shifting entities rumored to roam the islands after dark.
Growing up in Hawaii, there's a lot of ancient Hawaiian stories or traditions, or I would call superstitions. What we refer to is just ancient Hawaiian spirits. It's probably just ancient Hawaiian spirits trying to get my attention.
As Daisy wrote, "I always pray with my boys before bed, and coincidentally we forgot our nightly prayer this night. Whatever was here will not be welcomed here again." Now, listen to what her camera captured. A chilling voice echoes clearly through the hallway, calling out, "Mom!" The voice appears to mimic her son, with terrifying precision. Yet when Daisy and her husband rush to check on the children, both boys are fast asleep, in their beds. If neither child was awake, who or what was calling to her from the darkness? Daisy explains that living in Hawaii has exposed her family to several unexplained events, but not knowing what spoke from her hallway that night has left her shaken to her core. Was this an unseen mimic attempting to lure a mother into the shadows? The investigators behind Taboo Paranormal have explored dozens of notorious haunted ruins without hesitation. That was until an aggressive presence allegedly attached itself to the team and followed them back to their own home. The terror began when their cat started hissing violently at an antique mirror brought home from an investigation. Desperate to communicate with the entity, they conducted a Ouija board session inside their living room, a mistake that unleashed pure chaos. What happened next convinced them they were no longer alone. Bringing a cursed mirror across the threshold was already dangerous, but breaking the Ouija circle by lifting their fingers from the planchette was the final straw. Later that night, the team reviewed photographs captured during the session. As they adjusted the exposure on an image of the dark living room, something emerged from the shadows, sending chills straight down their spines.
Во время эксперимента с зеркальным порталом. На самом деле,
lurking within the pitch-black shadows, directly behind the investigators, is a grotesque humanoid face. Its sunken eyes stare from the darkness above rows of razor-sharp teeth. And the nightmare was far from over. Over the following nights, cameras throughout the house recorded even more terrifying physical manifestations. From shifting shadows to violent disturbances in the dead of night, the escalating encounters seem to confirm the team's worst fear. Something dark had followed them home from the ruins. Did Taboo Paranormal unleash a demon inside their own house, or was this merely clever paranormal entertainment? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Next on our list is a disturbing upload from TikTok user Baz Sheppy. What makes the recording so compelling is that she had never posted paranormal content before. Her feed was otherwise completely ordinary. Yet buried among her everyday videos is one recording that will make your blood run cold. After being away from her house for 2 hours, Baz returned home and stepped inside, only to hear violent banging and heavy thuds echoing from the kitchen. She immediately grabbed her phone and pressed record.
I just came out of the bathroom. Well, I went to the bathroom, and then I was in my room, and I hear a loud... Oh my gosh! What? You're actually lying. I don't know what to do. I'm actually freaking out. What?
While Baz speaks to the camera, an explosive crash tears through the house, sounding as though the room itself has collapsed. She swings the camera around, and the scene is pure carnage. Her kitchen has been completely devastated. Cabinet doors ripped wide open, cookware hurled across the floor, and shattered plates covering the tiles. The destruction resembles classic, aggressive poltergeist activity. What makes this case even more chilling is that Baz Sheppy never posted an update. No explanation, no follow-up, and no response to the thousands of terrified comments. Was this an elaborate setup, staged for viral attention? Or did a violent entity tear through her kitchen while she was still recording? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.
Loud. Oh my gosh! What?
Late one Wednesday night, a driver was traveling along a desolate highway when his dashcam captured an encounter that left him questioning reality. Surrounded by miles of empty asphalt and pitch-black wilderness, everything seemed like an ordinary drive through the darkness, until his headlights cut through the gloom, illuminating a terrifying silhouette standing in the middle of the road ahead. The highway was no longer empty. Standing dead center in the lane is a dark, motionless figure, one arm raised as if attempting to hitchhike. Both the driver's front and rear dashcams captured the entity, yet as the headlights swept across its body, it never flinched, never turned its head, and never moved an inch. By the time the driver understood what he was looking at, the figure had already disappeared into the darkness behind him. Was this an ordinary pedestrian standing motionless on a high-speed highway, or a phantom hitchhiker haunting the road? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. On June 7, 2026, at approximately 6:40 in the evening, 2 office workers were finishing their shift, preparing to lock the building for the night. As one woman walks over to her colleague's workstation to review an end-of-day report, the security camera captures an unsettling disturbance inside the empty room directly behind them. Without warning, an empty desk chair violently rolls across the carpet, and the heavy workstation table lifts from the floor under an invisible force. Both women scream and sprint from the office, but eagle-eyed viewers noticed another chilling detail hidden within the mirror's reflection. The computer display at the empty desk suddenly changes to another active window, as if someone had physically moved the cursor and clicked the mouse. Minutes later, one of the workers slowly creeps back inside to retrieve her belongings, audibly begging the unseen presence for forgiveness. The employees later revealed that this was far from the first unexplained occurrence reported inside the building after dark. Was this an intelligent, physical poltergeist making its presence known? Or was the entire incident an elaborate workplace prank? I'll let you draw your own conclusion. Paranormal investigators Gabby and Brandon, from the TikTok account Two Cousins Ghost Hunting, traveled to Chase Manor, a historic estate constructed in 1812 with a profoundly grim past. The manor reportedly operated as a funeral parlor for decades. Scrape marks believed to have been left by heavy caskets remain visible across the wooden floorboards, while the cold cellar was allegedly used to preserve bodies. The estate has also been connected to tragic suicides and rumors of a child who died inside the basement. A history that has left the manor with an overwhelming and deeply oppressive atmosphere. After positioning static night vision cameras throughout the darkened halls, one of those cameras captured something neither investigator noticed at the time, something that would leave them both speechless. Just beyond the open doorway, a dark, shapeless mass appears inside the corridor. The shadow sways unnaturally from side to side before thinning out and dissolving into the darkness. When Gabby and Brandon reviewed the recording, they were stunned, convinced they had documented one of the restless spirits still bound to the former funeral home. Skeptics suggest the anomaly could be a shifting reflection or an insect passing close to the infrared lens. Yet, given the manor's macabre history, the possibility of something paranormal is difficult to ignore. Did they capture a wandering soul trapped within the halls of Chase Manor? Or is there a rational explanation for what appeared in that doorway? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This next video was recorded at night, inside the decaying ruins of an abandoned children's psychiatric hospital. From the moment two investigators crossed the threshold, an overwhelming and hostile atmosphere suggested they were not welcome. Armed with flashlights and paranormal equipment, the pair moved cautiously through the ruined wards, searching the debris-covered corridors one room at a time. For a while, the hospital remained completely silent. Then, without warning, the entire building erupted into pure chaos.
Dale. No sé, es que ¿dónde se escondería? Si tú abarcas la izquierda, yo abarco la derecha. Los vidrios están empezando a reventar. Ten cuidado, ven, ponte detrás mío, que no te vayas. Sí, están que se revientan los vidrios. Ven. Ven rápido, no te pongas en los vidrios. Puta madre. No te pongas en los vidrios. Acá. Ahí, quédate. Ven, sal. Ten cuidado. Ay, hey, la sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí. ¡Basta, demonio! La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tranquila, quédate ahí, ¿ok? Dale, quédate ahí, yo voy a entrar. Quédate ahí, ¿ok? Quédate ahí, no entres. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Quién está? La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí, demonio. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes poder aquí, demonio. La sangre de Cristo tiene poder. Tú no tienes... Uy, mierda, ay, carajo. Concha. Uy, está arriba. Uy, no. Uy, Dios. Ay, Dios. Oh. No, me están que se revienta toda la casa. Se está reventando toda la casa. Ven. Aléjate, fuera de los vidrios.
It begins with a deafening bang, as an invisible force seemingly tears through the ward. Heavy glass-paneled doors slam shut and shatter on impact. Windows explode across the room, while rusted metal crashes down from the ceiling with no visible source. As his partner flees in terror, the cameraman steps back into the ward, desperately commanding whatever is present to stand down in the name of Christ. But the destruction only grows more violent. Additional panes begin exploding one after another, moving around the room in what appears to be a deliberate and calculated pattern. Skeptics suggest the destruction could have resulted from structural collapse or pressure building inside the deteriorating glass. Yet the violent crashes appear to react to the investigator's voice, falling silent before returning with even greater force. Was this simply the abandoned hospital collapsing around them, or was an enraged entity listening and fighting back? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.
Tiene poder. No tienes... Uy, mierda, ay, carajo. Concha. Uy, está arriba. Uy, no. Uy, Dios. Ay, Dios. Oh. No, me están que se revienta toda la casa. Se está reventando toda la casa. Ven.
Exploring the world's most terrifying ruins is the signature mission of YouTuber The Bearded Explorer. This investigation brought him into the decaying corridors of an abandoned hospital, originally constructed in 1882 for children suffering from infectious diseases. Over the decades, the facility housed convalescent wards and orthopedic research units before being mysteriously shuttered and left to rot. Today, its ruined halls carry a grim reputation for intense paranormal activity. During an earlier investigation with fellow paranormal researchers, the team was terrified when their cameras captured a translucent, human-like apparition wandering through the empty halls. Unable to forget the encounter, the bearded explorer returned to the abandoned hospital alone, in the dead of night, determined to confront whatever was lurking in the darkness. But this time, no one would be beside him.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to tonight's special Halloween video. So tonight I have come back to the hospital where I caught something on camera. I'm not going to say whether it was a ghost, I don't know what it was. But tonight I am here on my own, as you can see in the pitch black. And we're going to take a walk around this hospital. It's going to be absolutely terrifying. So let's go and see what happens. That was really creepy. It felt like I bumped into someone, but there's no one there. Oh, why is it so cold? say? Over approximately 70 X Bedford Morris. I don't know what that means. And look, come outside and there's hardly anything, but literally I step into this room here, the temperature change from there to here is, there's a bit, but there's nothing compared to what it's like in there. That is really strange.
The moment he crosses the perimeter and enters the derelict ward, an unnatural freezing chill fills the air, a sensation paranormal investigators often associate with a manifesting entity. Then the silence inside the ward begins to break.
What the hell was that? I'm sure I heard something. I don't know. It's probably just the wind. Oh. I mean, it is a little bit windy out there today, but it's not. What was that? Okay, this is the worst part for me. This is the room that had the X-ray in, I'm sure it was. Yes, it is.
Hearing a faint scraping sound farther down the hallway, he slowly pans his camera into a dark room.
What the hell was that? I'm sure I heard.
Hanging from the ceiling, a heavy metal lampshade begins swinging violently back and forth, as if shoved by an invisible hand. While skeptics point to moving air, nearly every window inside the room appears to be boarded shut. Even more strangely, the lampshade's shadow appears to move independently of his shifting flashlight beam. But this subtle disturbance was merely a warning of what was coming next.
Oh, God, okay. Oh, I've never been so scared. I've never been so scared. I'm getting out of it. I've had enough. That was weird. That was really, really weird. What is it about this place? Oh, I hate this place, I really do. Just listen. Oh, God. Shit.
As he moves deeper into the corridor, an object suddenly shoots across the floor, rolling directly toward his feet. Overcome with sheer terror, the seasoned explorer turns and bolts from the abandoned hospital. Did the bearded explorer encounter a violent poltergeist inside the abandoned ward, or was the entire experience caused by heightened fear inside the darkness? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.